What you're about to hear is a recording I did live on TikTok. So it's not in the usual format of my other YouTube videos, of my other podcasts. It's a little bit more freestyle. Obviously, it's quite a bit longer, but it is packed full of information around modern dating and how modern dating has this huge shadow collectively in terms of masculine, feminine dynamics and polarity reversals, and really how we can use that reflection of this bigger picture shadow to self reflect on our own shadows that modern dating is activating in all of us. This applies to you, obviously, if you are dating, if you are single, but the same principles apply to you if you are in a partnership or in a relationship, because every person has a masculine and feminine side that sometimes are at war. And so in this video, I give you some really practical action steps of how to do the shadow work inside of yourself so that when you show up in relationship and in dating, you're coming forward as a more integrated whole. And I really honestly think that's how we make the biggest difference. So enjoy, let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We all have an internal masculine side and we all have an internal feminine side. Very generally speaking, a biologically born woman will lead with her feminine energy, and a biologically born man will lead with his masculine energy. However, right now in modern dating, in modern society, and modern relationship, there's this really weird flip-flop of an energy going on, meaning there are many, many women that are operating from a space of their wounded masculine. So anytime you're with a woman, or maybe you are that woman, I certainly have been that woman before. It's not something comfortable to admit, but I have been there, where you're naggy. The woman is critical, where she feels like she is controlling, where she's not that soft, surrendered, supple, open, legs open, not just sexually, and it's not that flavor, but also a little bit of that flavor. There's a very particular reason for that. And then on the opposite side, men are, from what I hear, obviously I am not a man, but from what I hear, men are experiencing this thing where it's like, A, I don't even want to date anymore because it's not worth it. I'd rather have my peace than have women. And B, on the opposite side of that, a lot of men are like, I don't understand what women want. They tell me to be more open. They tell me to be emotional. They tell me to be vulnerable. And then the second I do that, they drop me. So if any of what I'm saying is resonating, drop me some likes, drop me some roses, especially. It's always very appreciated. Hello to everyone who is here. And then the next most important thing would be to just drop me your questions. If you are here for face reading, please also drop me those questions as well. If you've been with me on a live before, I go all out. I will give to you everything that I have to offer. I do not hold back. There is no gatekeeping. Any questions you have, absolutely anything. I'm not taking guests at this time. I just saw a request for that. That's actually going to be a part of my subscription model that I'm going to start on, what day is today? Today's Thursday, so I might start it on, I might do a live on like Saturday or something, or Friday, maybe tomorrow, and start the subscription-based model where then I'm going to have a split screen with guests, and then we can really, really get into things. We're looking at questions. I just want a man to do things with. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about that, right? Because I'm going to go really deep with this, so stick around for the full thing because this is going to be applicable to absolutely everybody here. I want a man to do things with, so we have to look at human behavior. Human beings are mammals. Mammals are operating from their subconscious mind, and in the subconscious mind, the mammalian part of us, which is larger than the human part of us, is always moving toward pleasure and away from pain. So it's called, what I like to call, reactive behavior. We are reacting to something that we don't want and always trying to move towards something that we do want. Now, the function, the very special function of a human, this differentiates us from animals in the wild, is that we have this thing called a prefrontal cortex. And a prefrontal cortex can do something called top-down processing, all a fancy way to say we can override our animal programming. Animals in the wild cannot override their animal programming. They also cannot lie. They cannot place meaning on things. You're never going to see a zebra being like, dude, that lion attacked me because I fucking suck, because I'm a meaningless, worthless piece of shit. Zebra's never going to do that. It doesn't hold on to things, right? That's the function of the human. And so I know I'm going super, super deep into this. I go super deep into everything. I cannot exist on the surface level of absolutely anything, but I just love this question. It's not a question, it's a statement. I just want a man to do things with. When we look at the capacity of our animal biology, that we can parcel out, and I'm not sure because I haven't talked to this person, so I am making assumptions here. We can parcel out, I want a man to do things with. Is that conscious behavior of what somebody truly, truly wants? Because wanting and desire always fuels a high level of consciousness, but you have to be very certain and very clear and very authentically, brutally honest about what you want. Or is the statement, I just want a man to do things with, reactive to something that we don't want? And this is where people fuck it up, mess it up. Sorry, I'm trying not to cuss as much. People on TikTok are getting mad at me for saying fuck, which is fine. I could continue to say fuck, but I also want to be applicable to people if that's a difficult word to hear. Okay. Most people, where they mess it up is that they don't realize that they are subconsciously, that's the mammalian part of them, that they are not consciously aware of. They are reacting to something that they don't want. Now, I could assume, because I've worked with thousands of people for about 20 years now, real thing. I started actually working when I was 14, doing this. I was doing energy work when I was 14. Is she really wanting someone to do something with, or is she wanting to run from loneliness? More likely than not, however, I'm not certain because I've talked to her, she's running from loneliness. And this is beautiful. This is really good information, because what is loneliness? Loneliness is, simply put, a felt sensation in the body. Loneliness has absolutely no meaning. This is also where people mess it up. They feel loneliness, they feel anger, they feel grief, they feel depression, and depression is a little bit more of a process than a feeling. If we have questions on depression, please let me know. I have helped many people get off of their depression medication using very specific somatic forms of hypnotherapy and shadow work. Yes, so she's commenting. I'm glad you're still here. And I hope that was just the first question that came through. So I'm like running with it. So thank you for posting that. But yeah, so if you feel lonely, when we're in reactive behavior, reacting to something that we don't want, we never get to where we want. And I'm going to give you an example right now because you're never going to forget it. So just stick around at least for this example. When, like when you're looking at something like a beautiful sunset at the beach, and you're really relaxed and your eyes are open, you can see everything all at once. You can see the birds flying by. At the same time, you can see the people walking by. At the same time, you see the waves coming in. Your breath is very deep. It's all the way into your belly. You're not in your head running from the pain inside of your body. You're actually focused externally, and your sight, this is important, your sight is literally open. You can see the periphery. It's like when you relax your eyes and you can see everything all at once. Okay? When we are neurologically in that state, we have access to more information. We have access to what it is that is meant for us, what it is that we truly, brutally, honestly, authentically want, and we have access to the information of who we need to become in order to get there. Okay? Now, you're looking at the sunset. Now imagine this. A tiger jumps out of your periphery, out of the corner. Freeze frame. What are you going to do? It's an obvious question. You're gonna freak out. The tiger is going to come at you, and your visual cortex is going to instantly change. Your visual cortex is going to go from this broad view of, wow, what do I want in this infinite realm of possibility? I'm so alive and I'm here and I'm present, to, oh, there's a threat coming at me. We tunnel vision on the tiger and we go into reactionary behavior. This is called binary thinking. Binary thinking is there's two options. There's tiger and there's survival. When you run away from the tiger, answer this for yourself. Are you running in alignment with where it is that you want to go, with where it is that you're meant to go, with what your heart's authentic desire is? Absolutely not. You are running for survival. When we react to tigers, I'm going to piece this all together for you. When we react to tigers, you are never running towards what you want. You are only reacting and running away from what you don't want. Therefore, you will never end up where you want to be. So when we say something like, because it's such a good example, I just want a man to do things with, we're actually running away from loneliness. And in this instance, the loneliness is a tiger, okay? Because the tiger, the threats can be internal. That would be loneliness, grief, shame, guilt, the things we run from, grief, whatever. Or they can be external. This person did this circumstance happened to me. I'm in this situation. We're reacting to things, thinking that if we just keep reacting, if we keep relying on our animal biology that exists in binary thinking, that we're going to get to where we want to go. And it is absolutely not true. So what do we do about this? Okay, we're going to take this into the realm of, what do you want for your life? What do you want financially? What do you want relationally? Are you looking for a soulmate? Are you looking for a relationship? Is there something that you really want? So what do we do with this? When you're making, pay attention to this, when you're making any type of a change in your life, I don't care what the change is. So think of the change right now that would cause you to feel good, that would cause you to just become alive, that would cause you to feel so wonderful. Like you wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck yeah, this is the most amazing life. This is what is truly meant for me. Okay, when you're making a shift into something that you really want, there is always two sides of the equation. Why are there two sides? Spiritually, because we exist in duality. We have consented to a dualistic reality where there's sun, there's moon, there's good, there's bad, there's this, there's that, there's shadow, there's dark. So there's always two sides of the equation. The first side of the equation is what I like to call the light side. The light side is taking yourself out of that reactive behavior, looking around, being like, hey, there's no tiger attacking me. And in fact, quite literally, it's going to sound a little spiritual woo-woo, but quite literally, if I can imagine it, I can create it. Why? Because this is hypnotic. I am a hypnotherapist, by the way, if you don't know this. I don't post as much about my hypnotherapy on TikTok, though. It's more on like Instagram and YouTube, so make sure you follow me there as well. If you can imagine it, when you imagine something, your awareness is currency to the body, is running through the neural pathways that activate that is something that can happen. So it starts to change your visual cortex. It starts to change your felt sense, what you allow into your reality. It starts to change your smell, your taste. All of the literal physical hardwirings in your body start to shift and change to match to, okay, I guess this human being is making this change. I better change my nervous system to start to orientate to that. So if you can imagine it, it is literally meant for you. Sometimes we have to kind of piece it together in a different way and get down to the root of it, but maybe that's a different conversation. So the first side of the equation is the light side. What is it that I actually want? When I'm looking at that sunset, there are no tigers. What is it that I actually brutally want that causes me to feel inspiration? It's almost like that feeling of like, oh, wait, I could have that. I could be that. Wait, I really want to be confident. Oh my God, I want to walk into a room and be magnetic. I want to feel peace in my heart. I want to live in this location. I want to experience intimacy in this particular way that I've never experienced it before. Whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you want, there's no right or wrong answer. The important part is that you hit it with brutal honesty. That is one side of the equation because that's the GPS. That is what takes you out of, I'm reacting to a tiger, and into the broader spectrum of who am I meant to be? What have I consented to in this reality so that the pain can open me up to what is meant for me? Okay, that's step number one. Step number two is the shadow side. Okay, step number one is the light side. Step number two is the shadow side. What is the shadow side? The shadow side is, what's blocking me from getting there? What am I resisting, denying, ignoring, repressing within myself that is keeping me from getting there? What am I running from? Like the loneliness example. Am I running from loneliness in order to get there? Because you're never going to get there. The shadow work is cleaning up the experiences that have happened to us in the past, namely childhood, namely between the ages of 0 and 7. That's usually, there's just so much neuroplasticity. There's a lot of stuff kind of gets accumulated in that realm that has automated, I'm going to say this slow, that has automated a patterned network of falsified information in our nervous system that we continually operate from in real time. However, it's actually a reaction to the past, aka shit happened in our childhood, we believed it, we attached a negative emotion to it, hardwired our nervous system that way, and now there's an antenna in your brain called the reticular activating system that sorts for it. That goes, doesn't care if it's good or bad. It goes, hey, if I'm alive now and I, experienced relationships that were completely awful as a child, but I figured out a way to survive it, I'm going to continue to sort for that and search for it because it feels familiar. Thank you for the comments. I'm beautiful doing shadow work now. Yeah, if you want, we're going to keep talking about it now, but I'm going to pause and just give you some next steps so that I'm giving you as much as I can. I always do that. On these lives. I give you as much as I can. If you want more in shadow work, I have broken it down. This is a free offering into literally 4 steps because shadow work is not logical. Okay. Shadow work is completely illogical because it exists in your subconscious, and the subconscious is the mammalian body. The subconscious is the actual body. It's the felt sense, it's emotions. It is not logical. So I have worked so much with shadow work. It has changed my life in such a significant way that I've broken it down into 4 steps, and I have that on my YouTube channel. So 0 cost way to support me. Go follow my YouTube channel, Kate Colley, same name everywhere. You can find me on all the platforms. Well, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And I have a podcast called Going Deep. Go to my YouTube channel, watch my video titled The 4 Steps to Heal Any Emotional Trigger. That is shadow work. That will walk you through, oh, right, we can break this down into 4 steps, plug in any shadow, meaning any negative belief system, any uncomfortable emotion, any negative past experience, illness, body pain. It does not matter. Any type of pain, you plug into that system, because here's the fallacy of inner work. Here's the fallacy of the self-help world that everyone has told you, is that when we feel something, we need to fix it. When we feel angry, we need to work harder. We need to distract. We need to go to the gym. We need to go for a walk. We need to go outside. We need to self-regulate. We need to da-da-da-da-da. Now, there's a time and a place for all of those things. Those can be tools in your tool belt. They're useful, especially if you struggle with like overreaction, like people that struggle with impulsive anger. However, if you are learning even the most spiritual, even the most high level self-help techniques to regulate yourself in an emotional impulse, you are in a state of self-hate. That's a really bold statement, but I really mean it, because you're bypassing what is happening in your body. And the body, this is true for every single person, the body always exists in a state of self-love. The body will never, ever, ever generate a feeling, a belief, a thought, an action, or a behavior against you. It will not be obvious. You might be thinking, and I work with drug addicts. I work at a local rehab center with severe drug addiction, severe alcohol addiction, and severe mental health. And you can put anyone in front of me and I will tell them the exact same thing, and not just say it just to say it, but we work with it. We open up the space. Okay, you're addicted to drugs. What's the self-loving intention behind it? It's not actually that hard to get to. It feels like a stretch to our mind because we've been fed misinformation. But the body never generates anything against itself. The most common thing I hear is like with alcohol. Someone comes in, and I'll just give you an example of a collective of people I've worked with. I really want to stop drinking. I really need to stop. Okay, let's look at it in terms of the framework I'm giving you here today on this live. There's the light side and there's the dark side. If you could stop drinking, ooh, thank you for this cool ball. That was fun. I like that. If you could stop drinking, feeling would that give you that you really want more than anything? Usually, I'll tell you this, when we break it down, sometimes we have to go many layers deep. Oh, I want confidence. Fantastic. You want confidence. It's not that you want to stop drinking. The truth of it is that they want confidence. Their body loves them. Their body wants confidence for them so badly. It doesn't have a direct route to it, Because of past experiences, past traumas, there's a whole host of reasons why there's no direct route, but we can look at it and be like, right, you want confidence, you want to experience embodiment, you want to be socially embodied with people and present and enjoying connection all at the same time. Sometimes the answer is not confidence, sometimes it's like, I actually just don't want to feel my pain. Great, because your body loves you. Your body is self-protecting because there hasn't been enough context or learning, or there's trauma stored in the body. And so the body can't actually be present. And that is actually, I'm going to go on a small little 1 minute tangent on addiction, because most people have an addiction. It might not be as, big as alcohol or drugs or something like this, but even food can be an addiction. Toxic relationships can be an addiction. My shirt's like fucking falling off here. My sticky pads falling off. Or not falling off, but showing, sorry. Okay, so the addiction piece, everyone's addicted to something. Codependency, I view codependency in a relationship as an addiction because it's a maladaptive way of indirectly getting a need met. But when we do the shadow work, we can look at, well, what is the need? What is the body going after? And how can we create conscious alignment to reclaiming that need? It is not about willpower, okay? Willpower is a finite resource. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. I do not ever recommend solely relying on willpower. It can be useful, and some people have more willpower than other people, and that we can actually look at with face reading. If you follow my page, I talk a lot about face reading. If not, definitely follow and consume all my face reading content because that's quite interesting. But the bony structures of the face show willpower. The larger and more protruding the chin, the longer the nose, that shows solitude willpower. This brow bone can show mental fortitude and high levels of testosterone, right? So the bony structure of the face show how much willpower someone has, but it's still a finite resource. So what do we do instead? If willpower is a finite resource, if bypassing and even self-regulating can be a form of self-hate, what do we do instead to solve these bigger issues and get to where we want to go? Again, shadow work. Shadow work is the opposite of what you've been taught. Shadow work is being like, okay, I feel lonely. Starting to detach, sorry, my clothes are falling off today, and I'm not even wearing that skimpy clothing. And shadow work is first detaching the fact that the body has a felt sensation and the mind has a reaction to it, but those two things are different. They feel like they're one, but they're not. Most of the time, the body sensation comes first, and then a fraction of a second later, the mind plops on a made-up meaning. I feel lonely. Brain either goes into rumination of the past. Oh, you suck. You fucked up. You should have done this. You should have done that. Or brain goes into false meaning of the future of, well, maybe if I go on a dating app, I can find somebody and this, right? It goes into problem solving. Both of those are reactions to a feeling. We never want to be reacting to our feelings. We want to be feeling our feelings fully. But when we react to them, remember, like I said in the beginning, we never end up to where we want to go. Okay. So we instead bring our awareness out of the lies that our brain creates, and we bring it all the way into the body. This is in my YouTube videos, zero cost way to support me. Go follow my YouTube channel. The very last long format content I posted was the 4 steps to heal any emotional trigger. That video will change your life because it is a systematic process to do exactly what I'm describing here. I'm just giving you the high level overview right now. Bring your awareness into your body and you have intimacy with the feeling. Why? Because the feeling is a part of you. That's it. The feeling has no meaning. The feeling, when we feel anger, it could be like, well, there's a tightness in my chest. When I feel sad, it feels like there's a hole in my heart. When I feel shame, it feels like there's a squishy feeling in my gut. There's no meaning to it. Just because I feel shame doesn't mean I am bad. That's the mind. So we have to detach those two. We bring our awareness into the body, we feel the feeling, and we have intimacy with the feeling. Here, I'm going to give you an example. If a baby were to be crying, right? I'm going to make this really simple so you never forget it and you always have intimacy and love yourself more. If a baby is crying, we love the baby. Babies are cute. Maybe you're a mother, maybe you're a father, or an auntie, or an uncle. Baby's crying. The first instinct when the baby cries is to what? Move closer to the baby. You move your actual body, your awareness, your presence closer to the baby. You pick up the baby and then you start assessing. You start soothing. You start looking at, what does this baby need? Is the baby hungry? Is the baby thirsty? Is it tired? Does it need warmth? Does it need touch? Does it need human connection? Does it need maybe some stimulation? Does it need a diaper change, right? There's so many things that the baby could need, but we would never look at the baby and be like, oh shit, it needs something. Something's wrong. Let me distance myself from it, right? The natural instinct is to have intimacy with the baby because we love the baby and we want to take care of the baby. We want to understand the baby. That's all the intimacy is. Getting close enough to something to understand it and to take its needs upon yourself. Baby can't change its own diaper. We take it upon ourselves to meet the baby's needs, okay? You would never, and I hope you would never, if a baby was crying, freak out and be like, oh, shit, the baby's crying. I've done something wrong. I better close a door. And you close the door. Oh shit, I can still hear the baby. Something's wrong. Let me close another door. Oh crap, I can still hear the baby. Let me close another door. Let me close another door, another door, another door, another door. Now there's space. There is space between you and the baby. This is the breeding ground for addiction and unwanted behavior and non-useful thinking. Anything that you fucking don't want in your life, it's because there's space between you and yourself. But we're gonna use the baby example. Create all this space, all this space, all this space. Now all of a sudden here, maybe you can't hear the baby, but is the baby still crying? Yeah, the baby's still crying. Does the baby still have needs? Yes, the baby still has a need. The need and the crying and the pain did not go anywhere. The baby's body is still processing that. The person has removed itself, closed a lot of doors, and distanced itself because it doesn't have the tools to deal with the baby. Or it doesn't have the belief system to deal with the baby. It doesn't know how to have intimacy with the baby. And that's a painful state of powerlessness. No human likes to be in powerlessness. So human distances itself. Now you're over here, okay? No human would do that, but this is what we do inside of ourselves. We feel a feeling and then we go, oh shit, let me close the door, close the door, close the door, close the door, close the door. This is us going into our head, detaching from our body. You want to have confident body language? This is it. Because I could tell you how to have confident body language. Move slower, act like you own the room, take up space, whatever. You cannot be in control of your body language all the time. In fact, you very minimally actually have any control over your body language, literally. The only way to improve your body language is to take your awareness back into your body and become regulated, because that's all that confidence is. Confidence is literally just a prolonged state of nervous system regulation in all social settings, especially when there's a hierarchy involved, a social hierarchy, meaning you perceive somebody as being higher than you. Don't kill the messenger, but our brains operate in hierarchy and we're constantly sorting for it. So that's all that confidence is. So the only way to really achieve that confidence, the only way to really feel alive, to really enjoy your life, to really have the things that are meant to happen in your life, because you're meant for a lot, you were meant for a lot, you're meant to be here, is to close that gap, open the doors, pick up the baby. And I'm going to give you a really great piece of information right now. I'm going to try to read some of the comments as well, but let me finish this. So when you are having that intimacy with yourself, you're closing the gap, you're bringing your awareness out of your head, out of the lies, out of the spinning loops, into the body, there is always gold. So when you experience anything uncomfortable, any uncomfortable emotion, imagine it like bubble wrap or like gift wrap. The bubble wrap and the gift wrap is wrapped around something, what? Very special. Very important. There is gold in the middle of all of this bubble wrap. If you want to get to that gold, this gold is your authenticity. This gold is your happiness. This gold is your presence. This gold is everything that you want. You're never going to get there from running away from the bubble wrap, because the gold exists inside of the bubble wrap, right? That's why we pick up the baby. Your awareness is what starts to unwrap the bubble wrap, your awareness, and it has to be curious, non-judgmental, loving awareness. Has to be. You can't fake it. If you're faking it, it won't work. Unwrap the bubble wrap and you get to the gold. And this you might want to write down, because this is what I was going to get to. The gold is always one of three things. Always. It's a piece of your authenticity, yes, but we're going to parcel it down even further, because I like to give you systems. I like systems. I'm a Virgo rising, okay? The gold is either a repressed truth or a desire, number one, or an unmet need. Number 2. Number 3 is an authentic boundary. These are what make you you. And when you know you, life becomes very pleasurable. Nothing, no sex, no drug, no blowjob, no person, no getting back with your toxic ex, no thing feels better. Nothing feels better than you being you. The end of story. Nothing feels better than you being you. You exist always in a state of self-love. We're going back to an original concept. Oh, yay, I reached my goal. Thank you. Of roses. That was very fun. Thank you for that. Very, very much. Nothing feels better than you being you. You are a gift. You have something to offer the world. Your voice matters. Your opinion matters. I'm not saying this to build you up and to be woo-woo about it. However, we have all of these different bubble wraps inside of our body, all these pockets of pain that are holding the gold. And if you're moving forward in your life, trying so hard to run away from the bubble wrap, to run away from the pain, to push down these parts of yourself, you will never get to experience who you truly are. You'll never get to experience that blissful feeling of being fully embodied and fully present, fully here, fully in yourself, fully reclaimed in your voice and in your heart and in your pussy or your cock or whatever, like all the way down, right? And I use explicit language on purpose because I really mean it, and because I want to get your attention, because I want to really make a point that there's no part of you that is bad. Even these really kind of more rudimentary, fundamental, root, primal parts of us, there's wisdom in that. There's wisdom in every part of the body. But what happens, again, because we've experienced pain in the past, we bubble wrap that shit. We go, oh, this part of me, this desire that I have, not okay. We shove it, we put it back behind us, on the side of us, somewhere in our neurology. We wrap it up with pain so that we don't ever touch it. Why? Because at some point in the past, usually in childhood, when we expressed, when we were embodied in that aspect of us, it got rejected. In some capacity, it got shamed, it got rejected, it got pushed down, it got ignored, it got denied, something happened that didn't feel good. And so the very self-loving part of us goes, ooh, as a child goes, ooh, okay, well, this is the child brain, I need connection to others. I need connection to tribe, I need connection to parents or caregivers, I need connection to others at all costs for my survival. I cannot, child brain goes, I cannot under any circumstance cut connection with those that are taking care of me. So what does the self-loving child body do? I know. I'll try my very hardest to cut out this part of myself. And that's what it does. This is the process of fragmentation. It splits off from parts of the self, represses it, and creates a mask. Who do I need to be in the world to make sure that my needs are getting met? You imagine that baby? If no one came to pick up the baby again and again and again and again, what? The baby would be like, okay, my need for affection is not valid. Do you know how painful it is to have a need and to have hope that that need is going to be met, to feel dependent on somebody that is not showing up for you? That's like the worst kind of pain there is. That literally for a human being, because we're a tribal species, worst kind of pain. So what does the baby do? Well, I can't force the other person to meet this need for me, nor can I cut off connection to that other person because I am dependent. But what can I do? What's the last point of empowerment I have as a baby? I'm going to cut off connection to myself. But the tricky part is that you can't actually cut off any part of yourself. I could take my hair, I could cut this part of my hair, I could cut off my hair, but I cannot cut off any authentic part of myself. That gold always exists inside of me. I can wrap it up and pretend like it's not there and avoid it, but you cannot go to a surgeon and say, hey, can you get out your scalpel and cut out this need that I have for touch? That's never going to happen. No, I need touch. I need connection. I need other people. And you have your own idiosyncratic set of needs and desires and authentic truths and boundaries within you that make you you. And that's perfect. That is beautiful and divine, but it requires your willingness to take your awareness and turn toward the darkness, to turn toward the shadow, to turn towards the parts that you have been running from your entire life. Okay. I see a comment that says what it shows that I need. Go watch my YouTube video. Zero cost way to support me is to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram for men's support. I'm going to keep going on this. I'm just giving you a couple steps of where to go next. But I do have a YouTube video called The 4 Steps to Heal Any Emotional Trigger. Watch that. That's going to walk you through this whole process in a very linear way so that everybody can do this work. Okay. If you want the very, the holy shit, change your life, everything full scope, do a 180, the one thing that people have done in my world that completely changes their life, the shit that I've done, because I have to tell you something. You would not recognize me 10 years ago. I was 20 pounds heavier. I smiled like that. I wore all black. I was like an eggshell. I literally was like an eggshell. I didn't even know that emotions existed. I didn't even know they had a purpose. I didn't even know that I could feel an emotion in my body or that there was a reason for it to be there. Like with social anxiety to the max, I would sit there in conversations and be in my head looping and spinning about I feel so stupid that I have nothing to say. And I would walk around thinking people were looking at me because I was so ugly. These are real things. I used to have really bad eating disorders, bulimia to the point that I would go to the grocery store to purchase items to eat and then throw up, right? So that was my flavor of addiction. When I say that I have done a complete 180 shift because I have learned these certain processes and I have made every mistake in the book and have fallen flat on my face so many times, and I have put it all in one place for you. You want that course to literally change your life. That is called Rewild Your Release. The link is in my bio. And that is this on steroids with hypnosis to change every aspect of your life. There's a whole part of it on just relationships. There, we talk about your internal GPS, what is authentically meant for you, how to go about getting that in a way that's not reactive, how to rewire and reprogram physically, literally rewire, reprogram your actual physical neurology so that your life changes. Because here's the thing. The version of you that sits right here, listening to this, dealing with the problems you're dealing with, is literally not the same version of you who has overcome it. So if you want to overcome it and then expand it even further and go into quantum realm, literally creativity of who it is that you're meant to be and learn how to weave that into this reality, there is a system. I have created it. It is called Rewild Your Release. Now, the cool thing about that course is that it also shows you, and this, I almost feel like I sound gimmicky when I say this, so I want to preface it with I am actually not kidding when I say this. I can give you the story around it. How to release trauma from your body instantly on demand. Yes, you are a mammal. All mammals have this function. All mammals can release trauma on demand. It's a function we have in our mammalian body, but because we have that prefrontal cortex, we have been socialized to store trauma, disassociate from the trauma, and live a fragmented reality, okay? It's the same part of our brain that can write poetry and create art, but it's the same part of our brain that fucks us up on the back end because it allows us to store trauma. We've been socialized basically to not do this process. I teach you that process. The coolest part is you don't have to know what trauma you're releasing. I don't believe that you ever have to go into the past and relive memories or talk about memories to release it. Sometimes it's useful. Sometimes people like it. Sometimes we enjoy it because it helps provide context. It helps provide usefulness. But for some people, and actually for a lot of people, it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because for the subconscious mind, right? Not the little part of your conscious mind that thinks it's in control. For the subconscious mind, time doesn't exist. That's a filter of your conscious mind. Time doesn't exist. So the things that are happening in your past to the subconscious, they're still happening now, meaning you don't have to remember what happened in the past. You literally just have to be present. That's it. When you're present, all of this capacity inside of your body turns on and clicks on to release trauma from your body on demand. And then you can start piecing things together like the most beautiful puzzle of your life that you have ever created. And it's better than you could have ever imagined. You are better than you could have ever imagined. You are literally, I'm not kidding when I say this. Yes, you. You are literally living, breathing, walking art. What do I mean by that? You know how you want to go see a movie and you work hard for your money and you pay money to go see a movie. Why? Because movies do something to our brain. First of all, our brain operates in story, and that's part of what's in the Rewild Your Release course. They teach you how to hack that because it's a big one. But our brains operate in story. We love stories. We go to see movies because we love to watch fucked up, imperfect people that have had a torturous past and they've made all these mistakes. See, like there's pleasure and there's turn on in this. They've made so many mistakes. They have fucked up so many times. They've fallen flat on their face so many times. We love to see that because we love to see that person slowly start to shift, self-reflect and shift and have this arc that is called the hero's journey. We love that shit. We live for that. We pay money to go see the hero's journey because what happens, we're going to go back to a concept I just talked about. There's a person that is a certain way, but there's character development. The person, that hero at the end of the movie is not the same person that they started as. They have done a 180. They are operating by the end of the movie from a different state inside of their nervous system, different thoughts, different belief systems, different attitudes, different actions, different choices, different things, and they always have a guide. There is always a guide. Rewild Your Release could be your guide. It has worked for so many people. So I invite you into that if you want that. At the end, what was I going to say? At the end of the movie, this person is entirely different. They're not the same identity, but they become something so unique and so magnetic, and they're not getting there. This is important, especially if you're on the spiritual path or whatever, if you're into self-help. Whenever have you seen in a movie, did the hero on the hero's journey at the peak of his experience change their entire life by looking in the mirror and doing positive affirmations? I am now different. I am confident. I am beautiful. Never, not once, because affirmations don't work. I talk about this in Rewild Your Release. Affirmations don't work. Now, I'm going to preface this, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit with the belief systems. If you're doing belief systems and they are working for you, please keep doing them. I don't want to rain on that for you. But I do know that sometimes they do work for people. For the majority of people, they do not work because the body is running a different process than the mind. When I'm speaking a belief system, I am confident. But if my body doesn't believe it, then my body actually starts running the program that it doesn't believe it, which sends that information up to the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system will start to sort for the people, places, things, ideas, belief systems, body language, movements that prove that I am not confident. Because the body goes, whoa, hang on here. This is just an example. If I were to be confident, that doesn't feel safe. If I were to be confident, then I am open to threats and vulnerabilities, right? Making stuff up. This could be true for you. If I were to be confident, then I'm opening myself up to get made fun of. I'm opening myself up to be seen, and I don't like that. That feels scary. So the body always exists in a state of self-love, and the body never does anything against you. Same for positive affirmations. Whew. Okay, that was like a whole mouthful. Let me just sort. I think I feel complete with that. There was the hero's journey, the becoming. We talked about the two different parts. Got to do the light side. You have to have that GPS. You got to know where you're going. And then you basically open yourself to experiencing what is the body giving to me that doesn't feel good. Because anytime it doesn't feel good, we know now there's gold in there. And it's waiting for you to be reclaimed by you. So that is your hero's journey. The hero's journey is taking a step forward, experiencing pain, opening yourself up into it, retrieving the gold, and then you jump realities. And then again, open it up, retrieve the gold, jump realities. But it is not, oh, I feel better and better and better and better and better. It's, I feel better, I plateau, now I feel worse, where's the gold? Now I up level. It's a constant state, okay, of what? Expansion and contraction. This is how things birth into the world. Think of a woman giving birth. What does the uterus do? This is the body. Body is wise. Body is nature. What does the uterus do? Expands, contracts, expands, contracts, expands, contracts. Ouch, fucking hurts. I'm a mother of two. I had 2 home births, completely natural. If you've given birth, you know it's not comfortable. Okay, it's a very intense process that is marked by, especially if you do it naturally, it's marked by a lot of very drug-induced biochemicals that put you in an altered state. Because what does an altered state do? Drugs increase neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? The brain's ability to rewire itself. There's a simultaneous birth and death that happens when the uterus is expanding and contracting. When my uterus was expanding and contracting, I'm dying as a single person. I am birthing a mother at the same time as I'm birthing a baby. So this is how nature works. There's expansion and contraction. It's not linear. Okay, same for when you are birthing you as the hero of your own story. The identity version of you that has overcome everything, it already exists. It already exists. It's just waiting to be revealed by your consciousness. But the way to get there, there's some pain. Okay, like I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. There's pain because there's contraction and expansion. There's a relief, an openness, a flooding of those feel-good chemicals, and then a contraction, and then a release. And it gets more and more painful right before the birth. You are in a process of birth. You are birthing your next version of yourself. Now, if you resist the process, that's where suffering comes from. That's point blank. That's where suffering comes from. When you resist the birthing process of what is happening. Okay, can you stay where you were broken? Katrina, what do you mean by that? You mean, you can choose to stay anywhere, but life will continue to put pressure on you to change. I think that's what you're asking. Oh, good. Thank you for your subscription. I will be, I keep saying this, but I really am. The next time I go live, what I'm going to do, if you join my subscription, then I will start having people who have joined the subscription come live with me, and we'll do a split screen. So the people that join my subscription, just because there's too many people that come to the full free live events, what happens is I can't get to everyone's question. I don't want to have people come on and have everyone have to listen to everybody. So I just want it to be like a smaller, more intimate group for those people that really, really, really want the one-on-one stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you this just so you also know a little bit more about me and kind of what I offer when I work with people, especially when it's like when I can actually see your face. Obviously, I do face reading if you follow me on TikTok, which is the weirdest, most accurate way to see directly into somebody's subconscious. Subconscious, that's where the gold is. That's why it's useful. I've been trained by professionals in the CAA and the military, top interrogator professionals to read body language. Again, quick way to see basically what's going on in someone's subconscious. I'm trained as a hypnotherapist, an inner child work specialist, blah, 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 all the things. But essentially, the thing that I'm really, really good at is really quickly, I can cut through the bullshit and tell you exactly what's going on. And so that's what you have access to in the subscription. It's not like we're going to do a whole hour-long session for each person, but you're going to get that one-on-one time and some really clear information. Then we can follow up each live because I'm live here all the time. So anyways, thank you for following. I'm not leaving yet. I'm just actually saying thank you and going to read some comments. You're so cool. Thank you very, very much for the compliment. I'm glad you guys are following me. So that's going to be the subscription. I'm excited about that. And like, if you know me by now, I'm an open book. I ask me like the fuck you want. Like, I will tell you anything. I don't care. I don't hold back. And I'm very brutally honest. But I like to play. So it's all very fun. So anything you want to ask me, there's nothing like off limits. Oh, tap the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me reach the subscription goal. That was, or not this, the Rose's goal. From my 2 husbands' insults and compared to sexually and physically. Yeah. If you have like that sexual, physical assaults, anything like that, that's definitely the body's going to remember that. So that's going to exist in the subconscious. Cool. Yeah. Thank you for following me on YouTube. Does everyone need physical touch and to feel connection? Yes. Everyone needs physical touch and to feel connection. You cannot get rid of the part of yourself that is a tribal species. We need other people to survive. All right. So I think I'm not going to go any further back. I'm going to read the most recent questions now. Isn't modern dating, right? I forgot that I think I put modern dating as the title, but then I tangent on 5,000 other things. Isn't modern dating just being as attractive as possible? That's a good question. I think that would be a blanket statement. I think there's maybe some truth in that. I don't know how much truth there is. I My personal opinion, Eric, is that it's not about being attractive. I would replace that word with authentic. And then we have to look at the nuance of authenticity, right? Because, if you've been following this live, essentially all human beings are fragmented. We have a mask self and we have a vulnerable self. And when we have that vulnerable self, it's wrapped up in all of that pain. And so the mask that we wear, that we have conscious awareness to, we're not consciously aware of where we're trapping our authenticity. We think that the mask is the authentic self. And so we're constantly talking, speaking, acting, making choices from the mask, thinking we're being authentic, when really authenticity requires a whole lot of self-awareness. Authenticity requires a whole lot of change in that mask. So authenticity requires us to change, which is a little bit of like a hard concept, I think, for people. Because it's like, well, if I'm being authentic, don't I not have to change? Being authentic is about changing in a way where you're not shape shifting, but you're expanding, you're becoming who it is that you're meant to be. And how authenticity, I'm going to give you the science reason for it, how authenticity is the most attractive thing, as I will say this all the time, authenticity is the sexiest thing on the planet. There literally is nothing hotter than true authenticity, because novelty, okay, anything new, generates focus. Because novelty generates focus, and there is nobody, this is true for you, this is true for everybody, there is nobody that is you. There is nobody ever in the history of the world, ever, that has been through what you have been through, that has experienced what you have experienced, that has seen what you have seen, that has the parents that you have, that's gone through the hardships and the good things and the trials and the tribulations that you have gone through. That is novel. End of story. You are very novel. We, because of this like knee-jerk reaction and being tribal species, we want to try to be like everybody else. And so we block off a lot of that authenticity. And therefore we become uninteresting. Like, that's really what it is. We become unattractive because we're trying to be somebody that we're not, which translates in body language as underconfident body language. So authenticity is the hottest thing, because when you really do this shadow work, like, I'm not kidding, when you really do this shadow work, you become so motherfucking hot, I can't even tell you. That's authentic. And that authenticity is magnetic. It becomes instantly attractive because people will be mesmerized by you. I just posted on Instagram, so also go follow me there. Instagram is a lot of help for men. I do believe men are struggling right now for so many different reasons. There's so much different covert depression going on. There's a lot of mixed messages about there's a lot of mixed messages for men right now. And if you're a man, you know what I mean, what it means to be masculine, all of that. So I have an entire Instagram page dedicated to that, but I did just post. So if you're a woman too, go check it out. Last night at like midnight, because it just popped into my brain. I was like, oh, I want to nerd out on body language, because I sometimes like to do that. But I posted the one, if you can memorize this one body language hack, you will 10x your confidence immediately. I have that on my Instagram. So go read that, because it gets into the real science-based behind why authenticity is actually attractive. So that's what I would say modern dating is about. It's actually about being authentic. And it's about being authentic, and it's about becoming who you truly are, which requires shadow work. Flirting is fun in some basic boundaries. Yeah, flirting is super fun. Playfulness is super fun. This is true for both genders and for any sexual orientation. Play is so underrated. People sort for playful people. You literally cannot be in play and in stress at the same time. Okay? When you're in play, you're present. You're not in your head worrying about shit. You're present. Presence is very, very attractive. It's also very novel. And there's actually a very functional, biological functional reason for play. Play is the brain's ability to create contingency plans in the face of stress. It's like if you imagine little baby tiger cubs playing, they're play fighting, and they do it again and again and again. Why? Because they're saying, well, if I playfully attack you from this angle, what are you going to do? What's the contingency plan? If I playfully attack you from this angle, what's the contingency plan? If I playfully attack you from this angle, what's the contingency plan? So play is building out this very creative form of contingency plans in our prefrontal cortex so that we can be versatile in stressful situations. Because the moment stress gets a chokehold, we drop out of confidence. then we're done, right? And then with there's an emotional refractory period where now once we've dipped out of confidence, we're going to linger there for about 20 minutes before even our nervous system can come back online and re-enter confidence. So play is very important, both for self-awareness for inner work and also as in terms of in modern dating, what people sort for, they sort for play. They sort for confidence too, but the two go hand in hand. Being authentic is the most attractive. Flirting is so fun. Always have a secret that you don't tell anybody, not even your best friend. That will make you attractive, especially for women. Flirting for a man is a little bit different, but definitely has to have that play. Has to have that play, that presence, that direction in life. Flirting for a man is more about what he does behind the scenes when no one's looking than what he does in real time, because women pick up on subtleties. And so you can't have a mess of your life, have no direction, be depressed, Cheetos everywhere all over your floor. I mean, I'm giving an extreme example, playing video games all day, and then put on your best suit and go out on a date. Woman's gonna know. The women, and she won't maybe consciously know, but she's gonna be like, oh, there's a lack of congruency. Something's not quite right. The women that don't know are the ones that haven't done the inner work to trust their body, and they're usually operating from a wounded masculine space, and therefore later down the road will be naggy critical women that you don't want to be with. Okay, blanket statement, but there it is. Take it or leave it. All right, can you explain shadow work? Shadow work, I've already explained that for today, naughty kitty. Naughty kitty, I like that. But go watch my YouTube channel, Kate Colley, subscribe to my channel, zero cost way to support me. And I have my most recent video is the 4 steps to heal any emotional trigger. That is shadow work broken down into 4 steps. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for doing the work. You are a gift. Your authenticity is special. It is important. Keep doing the work and know that when shit hits the fan in your life, when things feel uncomfortable, you have a really big opportunity to retrieve that authenticity. And it's really necessary and needed for the world right now. So it's a blessing, it's a gift for all of us when you show up for that work. So thank you very, very much. I will talk to you soon. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the roses. And I'll see you guys soon.